episode 73 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I am your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
Series 10 is literally a week away at this point.
Yeah, it's great.
So we figured we would do our tier list that we always do for every series, ranking Pokemon. This one has everything on it, like all the not fully evolved Pokemon.
Probably not gonna do everything.
No,
this has
everything
yeah.
but the not fully
there we
evolved.
go.
And Cosmog and whatnot are on here too, but
yeah, it has all the restricteds and all of the fully evolved mons. So stuff like Clefairy's technically not on here, but
I think it is actually.
Is it?
Clefairy is, yeah.
Clefairy is. So like every playable fully evolved,
playable
cool.
NFE, and then all the fully evolved.
Cool. So we have a long one.
So this will be a long one for everyone. I hope they are ready. Before we get started on that,
announcements?
Draft League signups ended today.
Yes.
As of recording.
Yes.
Like, they all end on the Monday. So if you didn't get in on that and you want in on that, you still can. Just DM us. We'll open the form. We'll get you signed up and whatnot. It'll be okay. Anything else?
I think that's the big one.
Unite was a blast. Had a lot of fun on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's been great. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it more at the end of the show. Because there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot to talk about Unite. Anywho, let's just go ahead and get into this tier list here.
Cool. So we just start at the top and do
I figured if we just work at the top and work our way down, it'll all just kind of fill in.
Cool. I didn't know if we wanted to set like anchors and go from there or what.
I think we'll get anchors pretty quickly.
Can I request an S+ tier?
Do you want one?
I think it's actually appropriate for this.
I asked if you wanted one.
And now you asked if I wanted an F tier. This is strictly better. S+ deal.
What color do you want it to be?
Magenta.
Well,
Magenta
there you go.
for Incineroar. It makes sense if you don't think about it.
Okay.
Because I mean, we'll be very honest. This is the mon of this format. Where is it?
It's not on here.
What?
Oh, there it is.
Oh, okay.
Like, we were just looking right past it.
Literally, what more can we actually say about Incineroar that hasn't been said 100 times at this point?
It's really, really good. You should play it.
You either need to play it or have a very strong reason not to.
Either play it, have a very good answer to it.
I mean, you can do both of those.
Well, you don't.
I would recommend doing both of those.
It's hard to play counters to Incineroar when you're playing Incineroar, right? Because a lot of the counters to Incineroar also usually carry Fake Out. Mind Shell is the big one that comes to mind as being the good counter to Incineroar, which it carries Fake Out.
With Inner Focus, Fake Out, High Jump Kick, it'll do a very sizable chunk.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the other S+ tier is probably Zacian. Let's go ahead and slap it in there.
Yeah, where's Sword Doggo? Get up here, Sword Doggo.
Best Doggo.
This thing is probably the top restricted for a while until people plan out ways to thoroughly smash it into the dirt.
Yep, until people realize, hey, you can beat this. This is the thing to play.
Yep. So yeah. Ready to get into the rest of these Pokemon here?
Is there anything else you can actually put in S+? The only other thing that comes to mind is Rillaboom. Just because it is so also widely played for a lot of the similar reasons as for Incineroar. It has good pivots. It allows for Fake Out. It sets up terrain, so like if your opponent's trying to mess up your terrain.
I personally don't think Rillaboom is S+. Specifically because a lot of what Rillaboom is trying to do now has been easily mitigated because terrains are more permanent.
Yep.
So it requires a lot more switching and whatnot, and Rillaboom doesn't get anything beneficial out of switching other than I get to reset grassy terrain and I can Fake Out.
Yep. And I mean, I really do think it just shows you, hey, Fake Out's really good.
Yeah, it's like the thing is like every turn your Rillaboom isn't clicking priority Grassy Glide is a turn your opponent gets to just deal a ton of damage and deal.
Yep. I think Rillaboom is definitely S tier.
Yeah.
I think there is an argument to be made that you could put it in S plus, but I'm not. I'm good.
Like I that's where I'd put it, as an S for sure.
Okay, so top of the list. Now that we have like the big ones out of the way,
we missed Alecki.
Oh yeah, we missed Eleki and we missed. Yeah, is that also just S worthy or is it S plus tier?
So this is one where it's like Alecki's the fastest thing in the format. It's
outside of Scarf and Tailwind. Yeah,
like you have to.
And even if you are playing those, Electroweb says no.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's like It has its own speed control with Electroweb, things like that. So
even if you do try to outpace, it's just like no, stop it, get some help.
This one Xerneas can definitely be in the S tier. I don't know if it's S plus tier, just because the more people play against it, they're going to be able to figure out how to beat it. I think not hard.
The rise of Zacian also says that Xerneas can't be the top tier.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that you have a lot of... I mean, Incineroar does good things against it and its teammates by just saying, no, you're not going to set up. Eleki does good things because you just outspeed it. Like, you don't care about redirection because Electroweb.
Yeah.
And then you're probably still faster.
You are not faster if it gets to go to +2, but if you've Electroweb in, then it goes to plus.
At +1, you're still faster.
You're at +1, you're still faster.
So, I mean, yeah, at that point you're just like, cool, we don't really care about you. So, the fact that like S plus tier just dunks on Xerneas to an extent tells me that it's not worthy of it.
Any other big obvious elephants in the room?
I don't think so. I think at this point we can just start from the top and... Good old Dark Urshifu.
And
Water
We're going to grab his brother.
Yeah, sure.
Because these Urshifu is just nuts.
In a format where Protect is really good, they say nah.
Yeah, like this is... Again, this is the same situation as Incineroar. It's like if you're not playing one of the Urshifus, you probably need to make sure you have a way to beat the Urshifus, because otherwise they just tear through teams now.
Yep. Can't set up defensively in front of it. You can't protect in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
They both just do a ton of damage to the format. So
yeah.
And I mean that's really like the anchors for S plus and S is like you need to be able to answer these mons or have a very good reason not to be playing them.
Exactly. So the rest of this list here, let's just start off with Mewtwo and we'll just work our way through most of the playables. How's that sound?
Alright, cool. Mewtwo, D tier. It's really bad, man.
Yeah, it was okay with like Dynamax
and whatnot. I don't even think you can classify it as okay.
It was okay because it got to do expanding force things. Like, that was actually a viable thing you could do a lot of the time.
But like, in that extent, it's just worse than Calyrex Shadow.
No 4 times weakness.
True.
You'll be surprised. I don't have Calyrex Shadow rated highly in this format at all.
I think a lot of people are going to play it, and a lot of people are going to have it ranked high to start. In reality, I think it is going to be one of the restricteds that falls the most by the end of the format.
Probably. Yeah, Mewtwo just doesn't do enough.
It's so sad, man.
Especially when, like...
I want it to be good and just not.
Like, especially when, like, Zacian's running around, and Zacian can probably easily just deal with your Mewtwo. It's just like...
Or Incineroar just sits there and goes, how are you going to hurt me?
Focus Blast.
Oh, cool, you missed. Also, Assault Vest.
So, yeah, it's just like, Mewtwo just doesn't do enough. Like, your restricteds nowadays, especially since, like, Zacian and Xerneas, and probably Kyogre are, like, the big 3.
The fact that you get one... says that you need to be able to do something with it.
Yeah, like, you can't just not build around it anymore.
Yep.
Especially now that there's no Dynamax to bail you out. Lugia!
I think it's like a solid C.
So, Lugia really benefited from Dynamax, and just because of weakness policy in general. You can still do weakness policy things.
It's just not nearly as good as it once was.
No, it really wanted to be the Dynamax target of your teams with your weakness policy and your activate and whatnot.
I think this is another one that you could do similar things to what I'm doing with Eternatus and just like bulk up in front of people and just not care about them. Especially because you do have multi-scale recover.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can just wall people all day.
Yeah.
And just stall people out that way. I don't think Lugia is going to be one to be a super offensive force in this format. If anything, I do see it being that stall variant of restricted mons.
Yeah.
But in that sense, I think it's just a worse Eternatus with probably better typing. I think you could make the argument that it has better typing, but it also then is weak to Urshifu, whereas Eternatus isn't, so...
gotta take your punches where you can. Ho-Oh.
I think Ho-Oh is solid A.
Ho-Oh feels like a solid A. It's a good answer to Zacian, it's a good answer to Xerneas, but that's about all it does.
it sits in front of people and takes hits all day.
As long as you can have
out and just gets to recover all.
As long as it's not against Kyogre, or Groudon, it's fine.
And even against Groudon, it's just like, cool, I outspeed you, right? Because it's base 95?
Groudon is 95.
I thought Groudon was 90, Ho-Oh was 95. Am I talking out my ass right now?
I don't think Ho-Oh... They're either the same or...
I'm looking. Ho-Oh is 90.
So I know they're either the same or Groudon.
Groudon is also 90. Okay, but I mean, you're not going to put a ton of speed investment into your Groudons. So,
no.
You could outspeed Groudons with your Ho-Oh, typically with very little investment, and then have big sun-boosted Sacred Fires going into it. That doesn't sound awful, but what do you do against Kyogre?
Exactly. The hope the rest of your team can carry against it.
What do you do against Eliki?
Nothing. Sit and cry.
Have 5 teammates to be able to answer him.
Yeah, all the ground types. Speaking of Kyogre is a solid S in my opinion.
Yeah, it's really good.
This thing is super powerful.
It does a lot of things that it's always done in these formats, and I don't think there's any argument to say that it's not as good as it's always been.
Yep.
To the surprise of no one's, Xerneas and Kyogre are really good still.
Yeah, it's just it's very powerful spread damage, seems to do really cool things, and then Zacian's just fast and hits like a truck all at the same time.
Cool, y'all can do the multi-target thing, I'm gonna just punch them.
Yep. Groudon.
It's like a solid B.
I actually have Groudon a little bit higher. It's
okay.
Groudon.
Talk me through it.
So Precipice Blades is still very powerful. It's if your spread damage is very powerful, then Precipice Blades is still going to hit like a truck. Groudon was super underrated in Dynamax formats, and we saw how that ended up being. Groudon just took over Players' Cup qualifiers. It was everywhere.
I think a big part of that was the fact that it had 2 very good Dynamax targets next to it, being Venusaur and potentially Charizard. And with both of those really falling out of favor because Dynamax no longer exists, as a result, I'm going to be lower on Groudon. I don't know if I can reasonably put my restricted to something that Torkoal kind of does better.
I disagree. Torkoal doesn't do it better.
Okay, talk me through it.
Because Trick Room's terrible.
True.
You can't play Trick Room anymore.
You
cannot play it anymore. There's millions of answers out there in between Whirlwind, Roar, Taunt. It's all sitting out there waiting for you to try and click Trick Room. So Torkoal actually does nothing. And you're also looking at Xerneas being one of the top restricteds. Torkoal's special defense is garbage. It doesn't matter if it's a resisted hit or not. True. You're getting blown up by that +2 Dazzling Gleam. It doesn't matter if it's resisted or not.
A very true statement.
Whereas,
that's why you paired Torkoal with Venusaur to Sludge Bomb him.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's Venusaur. Let's make Torkoal good. So what's the same thing with Groudon?
Groudon requires a restricted slot.
But Groudon also hits like a truck.
True.
Whereas Torkoal gets blown up before it gets to do anything. Yeah.
True.
You can spec Groudon to survive hits from Xerneas.
I'm sure you could with Torkoal too, because you resist Fairy.
Yeah, but do you want to remove all your utility from your Torkoal in order to have an Assault Vest on it?
Why be AV? I'm actually curious.
You have to be AV.
Do you have to
Your special defense is garbage on Torkoal.
I'm pulling up the calculator.
I think your base special defense on Torkoal is 40.
It's not that terrible.
You need to look at it.
It's not that bad.
It is bad.
70.
Oh,
that is
cool.
not 40. That's a mile away from 40. So let's see. This is just punching in numbers here. Let's do 12 special defense, and we'll be bold. Sure.
Because you're going to want to be running body press anyway.
Oh wait, not Geomancy. We want Xerneas. That's the Pokemon card.
Yes, Xerneas is now named to Geomancy.
Look, man, it does one thing, okay? Set this to level 50.
Yes, yeah, make sure you change your levels back.
And change this to +2.
I don't remember what the common nature is for Xerneas.
This has it as modest. So, sure.
Okay, sure.
Why does Xerneas have Thunder?
Because it gets Thunder, Thunderbolt, all the weird ones. It gets a bunch of weird moves. I think it has Flash Cannon, too.
Alright, 244 HP, 12 special defense. Moonblast at +2 does 88 to 103. Alright, so let's change bold.
Well, then you get it. Then you're surviving it for sure. But then you're losing a lot of your actual defensive bulk that Torkoal's known for.
So if you are calm, it's 80 to 94.
That's still a lot. Where you can get Groudon to be a 2-hit KO, easy peasy. You can get it to be a 3-hit KO, easy peasy.
So let's see. At that...
because you can run AV on your Groudon and not get super punished for it.
Oh, we need to change them to being +2 special defense, too, for these calcs. Lava Plume, because that's the attack it has in the calculator, does 11 to 14%.
To Xerneas.
Yep. In the sun.
Goodness. Goodness, that's...
I think that's 252, So you don't want to do Eruption, though, because you're, dead.
That still does nothing.
25% max roll, Eruption in the sun.
Good.
We have Heat Rock on. Let's change that to, like, an actual thing. Let's put on Charcoal here.
Charcoal, Citrus Berry, Choice Specs.
I mean, it's not going to change it.
Yeah, it doesn't do much. It gets to be like a
31% max
Almost a 3-hit KO. Almost.
Guaranteed a 4-hit KO. Oh, that's also 0 special attack.
Then you lose all your defensive bulk anyway, so you're just getting blown up by...
If we're 252, we do 39% max roll.
That's... no, I'd much rather play Groudon.
Also, we have a 98% chance to 3-hit KO them at +3.
Meh. Back to Groudon. Groudon just does so many other better things than just being a Torkoal. Like, if you can't compare it to Torkoal. Like, there's no actual comparison there.
I resent my previous statements.
Not only does it just it can also just blow up Zacian.
Yeah, that's fair.
We already knew this calc from way back in Series 8. Precipice Blades just blows up Zacian every time. You're also immune to Alecki. Just being able to take Alecki on and not have to worry about it. They have to click Hyper Beam into you if they want to actually hit you. Or Ancient Power, I guess. So, yeah, Groudon's a definite an A in my opinion.
Well, this next one's not.
Oh, no. This next
Rayquaza, I don't think we actually...
It's better than Mewtwo.
I think that's generous.
It's better than Mewtwo.
I disagree.
All the dragons are better than Mewtwo.
It's really generous.
All the dragons are better than Mewtwo.
I don't think Rayquaza is.
All the dragons are better than Mewtwo.
Okay, why?
Mewtwo actually doesn't do anything. These dragons actually have merit in these formats because all these dragons...
Right, they died to Zacian.
Well, yeah.
They died to Xerneas.
But that's why they're in C.
This one dies to Alecki because it doesn't even resist it.
That's why it's in C.
I think it's really bad.
I think it's better than Mewtwo.
By
a mile.
I do not.
By a country mile.
I would play Mewtwo before I play Rayquaza in this
You've got something wrong with you then.
Mewtwo at least hits like a truck. Rayquaza can't even say that anymore.
What's your Mewtwo going to do against Cali Shadow?
Be sad.
Yeah. Rayquaza can at least probably tank a hit from Cali Shadow and then hit it back.
Pulling up the calculator. I actually bet that's the case.
There was a reason people were running Rayquaza early on with just all the random, like, you just slap Incineroar next to Rayquaza, it beats up everything. You just gotta make sure you don't hit fucking Zacian.
Let's see. We want Calyrex.
I'm gonna do these.
Yeah, do a couple here.
I'm gonna do these. Oh, there's two Giratinas.
I think both of those are worse than Mewtwo, too.
This one beats Mewtwo.
I still think it's worse than Mewtwo.
Don't mind the graveyard of illegal mons down here.
They'll stay there, and that's fine.
I'm gonna just get all these dragons. All these dragon restricteds. You get down here.
Let's change this to Life Orb.
Because D is the bottom of our barrel.
True.
Like, D is completely unplayable. Do not play this Pokemon.
Astral Barrage to 252 HP Rayquaza. No defense investment. 61 to 72%. And now we add an Helping Hand. And suddenly it's a chance to Oko.
Yeah, with Helping Hand.
Yeah, you're clicking it anyway.
Are you sure you don't want your Cali Shadow to get hit by the Incineroar sitting next to it?
That's why I have Expanding Force in Psychic Terrain.
I think you need to see what...
Expanding Force is a guaranteed KO with Helping Hand.
Well, cool, with Helping Hand, but then you lose your Cali Shadow to the Darkest Lariat sitting next to him.
Nah.
Because you can't hit the Incineroar with Expanding Force.
Expanding Force is almost a roll to Oko. If they're 0 HP Rayquaza, I bet it's a
They
KO.
will never be 0 HP. I can tell you that for a fact.
It's a roll without Helping Hand.
I can say they will never be 0 HP Rayquaza.
It's actually a positive roll, too. And that's if we're timid. Now let's change that to Modest.
If you're modest, you lose to all the other Cali Shadows.
That's very true, and that's why you play Focus Sash. Which if you're Focus Sash, you lose...
a lot of damage output.
Yeah.
Because Life Orb is a ton for your output.
It's actually closer than I thought it would be. 93% high roll.
It's not an Oko. Then you lose your Cali Shadow because you've clicked Helping Hand to try and pick up a KO on a Rayquaza.
Yeah, but at least I'm Focus Sash. Focus Sash, Helping Hand, Expanding Force. Bang!
Bop. If you want to sit there and click Focus and click Expanding Force into my Incineroar, sure.
Look, I'm just saying.
Like, we can play this what-if game all day. I know, like, Rayquaza survives hits. You have to do a lot to where you can even get to Oko Rayquaza with that thing, whereas Mewtwo gets destroyed.
It's also a 0 HP, so...
Exactly!
So now we have Mudshot, and we're +1, so then we Oko the Ensign. Probably, I have no idea. Calyrex is great.
All these dragons, I put them in here because
yeah, you put Zekrom where appropriately.
Yeah, exactly.
Zekrom, I actually think you can make an argument is worse than Mewtwo because it's a physical mon in a format dominated by Incineroar.
Well, if that's the same. If that's the argument, then Zacian shouldn't be up there.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
No, that's exactly what you just said. It is a physical Pokemon where Intimidate matters.
It does, but
no, that is what you said.
Zacian has a free +1.
It doesn't mean anything if everyone's intimidating cycling.
You say that until I Sacred Sword you on the switch in.
If you call it right, yeah. There's a lot.
And I come back in, I'm back to +1.
Like, these are all what ifs. What ifs don't exist in this tier list.
They do in my tier list.
Well, then you need to leave. This isn't what this tier list is.
Yveltal, it's pretty good.
Yeah, Veltal's.
Yeah, it's
It's
pretty
solid A for sure. Argument could be like low S.
I think A is appropriate.
Like, I think Yveltal's gonna have a better time if, like, everyone figures out how to beat Xerneas, because, like, Zacian doesn't carry a fairy move.
Nope.
We don't care about it. We just sit here and Oblivion Wing and Foul Play and do our thing while there's Zacian's trying to hit into our wall of a Yveltal.
Alright, Zygarde. I think this is strictly worse than Mewtwo.
No. I've been playing with Zygarde a ton.
It's good.
There's a real good spot for Zygarde. You can make it to where, if you've built your team correctly, you don't have to worry about Xerneas, you don't have to worry about Zacian.
Yep.
None of the fairy types that normally would bother you are going to be an issue.
And I mean, that's the same argument for...
Which works for a lot of them.
All these dragons, to be 100% honest.
Yeah. And this is why all these dragons are great, is just because it's like Rillaboom, Aleki, Incineroar, Urshifu, Water. These are like... They most of the time resist these types.
Yep.
Where there's weird situations where like Dialga's Steel type and Palkia is Water type and things like that. But like, there's no Ice type. The only Ice type move up above Zygarde is Kyogre with maybe Ice Beam.
Maybe. Yeah.
So the fact that there's no random Ice Stab running around because Max Airstream is gone means...
Airstream is gone, and... spoiler alert, I don't think Cali Ice is good.
Yeah. So,
like, you really don't have to worry about all this ice coverage that once could have existed. So, Gen 7 Mons, I think. Solgaleo's okay. Lunala's pretty bad. Duskmane is... I think that's really hard for Duskmane.
Photon Geyser.
I agree. I think it's really good. I would have it over...
Photon Geyser and...
I don't know if I would put it higher than Ho-Oh.
I would.
I think...
Having that base, like, whatever physical psychic move is nuts.
Like, if there is any mon that could reasonably, like, do Trick Room things in this format, I think it's Duskmane.
Probably.
I think Duskmane does it better than
Solgaleo.
Ice Rider.
And Ice Rider and...
Dawn Wings I actually think is worse than Mewtwo. It has all the problems that Calyrex... It has all the problems that Mewtwo does, but with the typing of Calyrex, so it makes it even worse.
But it has the ability to help fix that.
It doesn't matter, though.
Yeah, it does. The ability actually means you survive
the hit. When you have,
like,
14 4x weaknesses, it doesn't matter.
But all that matters is you survive the hit.
I don't think you do.
You can.
I'm going to take your word on this, but I don't think it matters.
Trust me, I've been doing calcs for Pokemon for random nonsense because I hadn't been playing anything. I've been looking at all of these, trying to figure these things out. It does survive hits.
Oh, okay.
Plus, plus, like, Lunala gets Meteor Beam. Lunala gets to do the same things that Dawn Wings is doing, so.
Yeah.
Zamazenta.
It's okay.
I think it's...
I think it's better than, it's better than Lugia.
Like, Wide Guard is, like, the one thing, and coaching is, like, the two things that carry this Pokemon.
Did you know Zacian gets Quick Guard?
Yeah. Because Zamazenta gets Wide.
Yep. Eternatus, clearly S+ and a half.
No.
It needs to be the highest tiered Pokemon.
I would put it in A. Like, I've seen people just blowing people up with it on teams, and you're doing the wall shenanigans with it. I could see it as an A Pokemon.
Dude, when it's good, it is absurd.
And, like, it has the same thing as, like, Zygarde. It's just, like, you don't have to worry about Zacian, you don't have to worry about Xerneas, you don't have to worry about most of these things.
What's actually good is you threaten Xerneas a ton.
Yeah.
Like, sure, set up, I don't care. I don't care.
Exactly. Which, when the teams are built around these dragon types, it shows, and the team can just deal with a lot of what's going on for their issues.
Yep.
Cali Ice. This is our last restricted.
I think it's better than Dawn Wings.
Okay. Is it better than Reshiram?
I really don't think so.
Is it better than Kyurem White?
I don't think so. I think that's where I'd slam it. It's just right there, smack dab in between Necrozma and Kyurem.
I want to talk about this thing again, the Cali Shadow thing.
Yeah, do your thing.
So, we threw it up here in S. I don't think Cali Shadow...
What's this Wii business? I didn't
I threw it up there. I threw it up there just to get it up there so people could see it, but I don't think Cali Shadow is a solid S Pokemon.
I don't know if it's better than Necrozma.
Than Duskmane Necrozma?
Yeah. I don't think it's better than Duskmane. I think that's probably right. It's right there at the top of A. So
the issue that Calyrex Shadow has is, like, without Dynamax, cool, you get to sit here and do your things, but it's a known it's a known quantity that Urshifu Dark's gonna be really, really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Incineroar, really, really powerful.
Yep.
So you have to spend your at least a slot in your team for Ndidi or Volcarona or some kind of redirection thing.
And even then, it's just not guaranteed to do enough.
Yeah. So
because like the fact that Incineroar literally hard walls this thing by itself just means that it single-handedly turns the tide of this game.
Like any dark Pokemon can actually probably hard wall this thing
easily. Yeah.
Um.
Like, Urshifu just sucker punches it.
Yep.
Oh, sure, you followed me? Okay, I Wicked Blow you instead.
Yeah, like, that's the mind game you get to play. Like, this Pokemon has Wicked Blow and Sucker Punch.
Like, oh, you outspeed me. Cool?
Yeah.
Whatever, sure. I don't really care.
Oh, your partner's Volcarona. I happen to be safety goggles.
Tee.
And that's the thing you can do now with your Urshifu is you don't have to play Choice Band and Focus Sash. You can actually play other moves because there's usually no Dynamax Pokemon staring you down.
So now we get into the meat and potatoes here.
The playables is what we're going to call this.
So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to rank literally everything because that's going to be a lot. I think at this point, we're just going to pull things out and rank them accordingly. And if they're not ranked, there's a reason.
I'm just going to move them into D.
I don't even think you do that.
Well, because I don't want to scroll down all the time. Yeah. I want to leave this screen on for everybody.
Yeah, but then D tier is just going to grow and eventually push it out anyway.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I would leave them.
Okay.
I would scroll. I think the first one to talk about is Aegislash.
Yeah.
I don't think it's better than Dialga. I think it's similar to Dialga. I don't know if it's better than Dialga though. The fact that it doesn't require a restricted slot for your steel type here is really good.
The thing that Aegislash does great is Wide Guard. It hits like a truck.
It can, yeah.
On both axes of special and physical, you can build either one and just blow people up with it. There's even built like when I built my Brutal Swing build. I figured it out that you can just invest a little bit into special, just kind of mix it up, go mix attacker. Brutal Swing still picks up Galley Shadow.
Yep.
Like, the fact that you can still do that and just not have to fully invest in your attack to just pick it up is insane. And then on the flip side, the shield form has 1,000,000 defense now because you get to easily switch back and forth into it because no Dynamax.
Because you can actually do that in this format.
So, Aegislash is a solid B for sure. There's an argument. I could probably see people putting it in low A.
Yeah.
Like B and a half. If there was a B plus, it'd probably be in there.
I would agree with that, but I think there's an argument for a lot of these mons in B that you can move up.
Oh yeah, like this one, this one. Like everything from like Reshiram on can easily move up to B and a half, and then everything from here back can be B.
Yeah, I would
because we have an S plus, so this is essentially top, second top, third top, and then our B is like start of actual like this is a playable mon, but whatever kind of situation.
Among Us? I'd put it probably above Eternatus. In between Eternatus and Yveltal. I think it's really good. I think people need to respect it. I think people have played against this enough to be able to know how to play against it. Mm-hmm. Just because it has been around for quite a while at this point. Series 7? No, 5. It came in 5.
It's
it was
5.
on the aisle.
It's been a...
So yeah, it's definitely been a hot minute, and people have played with and against it. The fact that Dynamax no longer exists means that all the grass types, I think, are just ubiquitously better. Because there's no max Airstreams, there's no max Flares running around.
There's also no giant Rillabooms and giant Venusaurs to push other grass types out of the format.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously Rillaboom's still really good.
Yeah.
But Among Us, I think, is always been that second or third best grass type, and the fact that Venusaur has fallen means it just...
It moves up into that slot.
Yeah.
Araquanid. This thing is...
it's really cool.
I like it at A. That's about as far as I want to put it, though.
I don't think it's B. I think it's right there on the cusp of A.
Like, I like it in A, specifically because it's another wide guard user.
Yep.
It's not widely known to be, like, a wide guard user, so... nowadays you'll figure it out, but like early on in Araquanid's like history of play, you didn't expect wide guard. It also just hits like a freaking truck. You can't Will-O-Wisp this thing either because of water bubble.
And it hits like a truck because of water bubble.
So it's just like, I know there was a calc running around. I saw it. It does a ton of damage to Zacian with liquidation. Like liquidation just hits this thing like truck. The thing that holds Araquanid down is its speed. If Trick Room's not good, then Araquanid is not going to be as good. Which we don't think Trick Room's going to be very viable at all. Really,
I think that could change. I think I could be completely wrong on this, and you get to punish all the electro webs and icy winds running around, and suddenly now you're the fastest thing on the field thanks to Trick Room. But as of now, I don't see it.
Yep.
Arcanine,
just because I want to talk about it, because everyone's like, "Oh, Arcanine's Incineroar," and
it's not. Man.
It's not.
You know what Arcanine does? Dies the Cali Shadow.
Yeah. Arcanine just doesn't do enough. The reason Incineroar is an S+ Pokemon is not only is its typing like really good, it's got a ton of utility built into it. Fake Out, Parting Shot, and all that. Arcanine has none of that.
It has Intimidate and Roar. And it can E-Speed you. I'm out of things it can do. That's not true, it can Will-O-Wisp.
Snarl,
Now I'm out of things. It can growl your opponent if you go look at my PC2 team.
It can. It definitely can. It just doesn't do enough.
Actually, I don't think it can growl. I think that's always been the meme, is Growlithe doesn't learn growl. Excuse me for a minute.
Well, now Cars will do that. Galarian Articuno, no. Azelf, no. Azumarill, no.
I think it's notable to comment on Bisharp, strictly because Defiant, I think, could be good in this format, but of the Defiant mons, I don't know if I like it.
I don't like it because Zacian usually carries Sacred Sword, and
Xerneas exists, and the fact that you don't resist Xerneas' stab.
The fact that you just take neutral damage from the super fairy Pokemon is just kind of sad.
You can't take hits from Kyogre. Groudon dunks you. Ho-Oh dunks you. Yveltal's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool partner to Yveltal, I think. But
yeah.
It's fine. I don't think it's anything better than fine.
Yep. Blastoise, Blaziken, Blissey, Braviary.
Braviary is like kind of in that same boat. I think it's better than Bisharp just because you're not weak to... Like, the big problem with Braviary is, like, Eliki, and that's always been the big problem. And the fact that, like, Zacian can kind of dunk on you. You hit Rillaboom super effectively, so that's cool. And you also have Tailwind, so, like, that's another thing that you can do, but...
Your speed tier is kind of what lacks. I mean, Eleki punishes you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a way Bravia outspeeds Eleki with Tailwind. Because it needs to get to 138.
I'm literally on Showdown, let me tell you. Braviary, if we are max speed,
Jolly, what does that get us to?
That's a good question. If my phone was cooperating. 145. So
okay,
yeah,
so we get to outspeed it. We have to. We
can't outspeed at -1, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, even with Tailwind, we can't outspeed at -1.
Yeah.
Which, like, you could probably live if you were, like, Wakan Defiant. Which, I mean, that honestly sounds okay, because if they lead, like, Ensign plus Eliki, you protect. Turn 2, you go for Tailwind to set it up. Take the Electro Web. Now you're at +3 with Tailwind, but you're slower than, like, Eliki. So... Good job.
Yeah.
I guess the real play is, like, not set up Tailwind and try to punch them.
Yeah, just not set up Tailwind and survive the hits to be Focus Sash.
I mean, Focus Sash is probably better than Wakan.
Go to +3 and bop them.
Yeah, why even be timid? Why invest in... I mean, why be jolly when you could just be adamant?
So I want to talk about Bronzong.
Bronzong's great.
Bronzong has become like the go-to answer for most people for Xerneas specifically. It also is a good answer, good wall into Zacian, just because Zacian doesn't carry anything that can hit it super effectively usually.
I don't think it actually has anything off the top of my head that hits it super effectively.
Does Zacian get the fangs? Ice Fang.
Wild Charge, that's really close.
If it gets the fangs, then it can carry something that can hit sometimes on Bronzong super effectively.
No Earthquake.
Yeah.
We do get Fire Fang.
So it's like, if your Bronzong's heat proof, it doesn't matter.
You probably want to be Levitate. Maybe. I mean, with Ensign in the format, you probably want to be heat proof.
Yeah, like Ensign, Ho-Oh, people playing fire types means you want to probably be heat proof. The one thing you have to avoid, like the Plague, is like Kali Shadow and Urshifu. But like, if your team is weak to Xerneas or Zacian, Bronzong's a very good answer and just slots in a lot of the time. And if there was going to be a Trick Room team, this is probably the one that starts it.
Yeah, it's probably like Bronzong, Araquanid, Kali Ice, because you can Gyro Ball into your Kali Ice to trigger policy but not do a ton of damage.
Yep.
Can you underspeed Kali Ice?
With Bronzong?
I mean, like with both being min speed? What is Bronzong's speed?
Good question. I think it's lower than Kali.
33. Oh, yeah.
I would say it's lower than Kali.
We're
it's lower than
fine.
Kali's. I know that.
We're fine.
Butterfree, Buzzwole, Celesteela. Here we go.
It's pretty good.
Is it A good or is it S good?
I think it's better than Araquanid.
Yeah. It's
I don't
another
think
one of
it's
those,
better than Amoonguss.
It's another one of those wide guard users that just happens to be like, oh, why does this thing get wide guard?
That's also a steel type that pressures, the fairies in the format. The big problem with it is you're weak to Eliki and Ensign.
Yeah, which...
So maybe it's not better than Araquanid.
Maybe. I don't know.
Like, actually...
Araquanid puts pressure on him in a different way.
Like, you're weak to Intimidate off of Ensign.
Yeah.
But you have Water Bubble, so you just punch him anyway.
Exactly.
That's actually a really interesting argument.
Yep.
I think
one we don't really have time
I like
for.
Araquanid more the more I think about this.
Boop.
Yeah, probably.
Buzzwole, meh. Meh. Chandelure, meh.
I think Chandelure is just worse Heatran at this point.
Yep. Chansey, Charizard, Cherim, Cinderace.
I want to talk about Charizard for a second. It's not very good, but I think people are going to try to play it. I think it's definitely worse than Mewtwo.
There's the bar. We found it.
Like, D is like things people are going to play that they really shouldn't, and Mewtwo.
Yeah, and Mewtwo.
And I think Charizard fits that description just because, like, you just die to everything. You die to Electroweb Eliki, man.
Yeah.
You can barely take one when you're Dynamax. So...
Cherim.
It's pretty okay at best.
So, Cherim, without Dynamax running around, means Cherim doesn't have a ton of things to worry about. It's a weird grass type, let's be honest here. So...
Is it better than Venusaur next to Groudon? I think the answer is no. It's interesting, but I don't think it's better.
It makes a weird team out of it. It
does.
Which, I don't know if Lilligant's on this list, but I think Lilligant's...
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, okay, cool. When we get to Lilligant, we'll talk Venusaur versus Lilligant, because that one's a fun debate. Cherim, you'll see people play Cherim. People play Cherim alongside
I think
Groudon.
Cherim is definitely better than Charizard on most teams.
Cinderace, this is the one I wanted to actually talk about.
You're going really high with Cinderace, man.
You forget, B is the playable tier.
I don't even know if I'd put Cinderace that high.
Cinderace, notably, is Libero Ironhead.
Yeah.
Libero Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Libero High Jump Kick.
Uh-huh.
Libero Pyro Ball.
You mean weak to Intimidate.
If your weak to Intimidate thing is how everything works, then every physical attacker is going to tier lower.
And I honestly think that is an argument you need to make. I think Incineroar, there's a reason it's the best and most played mon in this format.
The reason it's the best and most played mon in this format at the moment is because the top two restricteds, it resists almost every hit other than Sacred Sword.
Which is a very good thing. While also being able to answer both of them. Single-handedly.
I don't call Incineroar an answer to Xerneas, it's more of a check.
That's fair.
So it's like, an answer is like Agaslash or
There's
Bronzong.
definitely a difference between check and answers. And I think that's a big thing that people confuse. The fact that you can just spam snarl or you can roar it out, like the fact that like you don't really care about it makes it more of a check than an answer.
Yeah.
Whereas with Zacian, I actually think you could consider Incineroar an answer.
Yeah.
Which is why it's better than Zacian. It's a very good partner to everything. Well, mostly everything. Like it's very, very good. And there's a reason. And honestly, Intimidate being as popular as it is does make a big difference. My big problem with Cinderace is like, it feels very similar to Greninja in the previous formats it has been legal in, whereas it just doesn't really accomplish anything because of its lack of bulk. And obviously, you can make the argument that Cinderace has priority, whereas Greninja I don't think ever really did. So the fact that you can Sucker Punch with it...
Did it have Aqua Jet? Did Greninja get Aqua Jet?
I don't think so, but even if it did, like, you didn't want to play Greninja as a physical Mon.
Yeah.
I'm going to check on that.
The Barrow is a very powerful ability. Even, like, outside of Dynamax, Cinderace just shows off with its... just capabilities of just, I am now a steel type. Oh, I resist the hit. Oh, you have to play this game of, does it resist the hit now and do I get to take it out? Or whatnot. AV Cinderace was something that started to pop up a lot as Series 7 kind of ended and we went into Series 8. And I think Cinderace, without the big Dynamax Kyogre and whatnot staring you down in the face just to blow you up, I think you could actually, like, safely play Cinderace again.
I'm an idiot. It has Water Shuriken.
Oh yeah, that one has priority.
Which I always forget about, man.
So that one has priority.
Its literal main attack has priority. Also against Shadow Snake.
Neat.
The problem is like your physical attack is garbage.
I added some others in here.
I saw.
Clefairy, Corviknight, both solid B tiers, I feel like.
Corviknight's really interesting. The fact that you have Mirror Armor.
Yes. That is the ability, yes.
Means that it, like, Incineroar intimidates itself.
Yeah.
And, like, you resist mostly everything coming off from Zacian. So, like, you can take hits that way. You answer Xerneas pretty effectively because you are way slower than it. Do you get Gyro Ball? I don't think you do, right?
No, I think your steel move you're going to run most of the time is Iron Head.
Yeah, probably, which, yeah, it seems fine. I think the big thing is, like, the big problem with it is you're weak to, like, Volcarona, which I think is a big argument for, like, all these steel types when talking about Xerneas, is you need to be aware that Volcarona can pressure you, and, like, if you lead them against Volcarona Xerneas, they can just not go for it.
There's a reason the two steel types up above all the other ones are in where they're at. Specifically, Duskmane Necrozma answers Volcarona because you get Rock Slide and all that fun stuff. And then Zacian just...
literally doesn't care.
Like, it looks at you and just like, okay, you're going to either Rage Powder to take my hit, or you're going to try and hit me and then I'm going to hit your partner anyway. What are you going to do?
So, let's see.
I stuck Cobalion and Conkeldurr up here because they're
very okay at best, yeah.
Fighting's not a good type right now.
Which is ironic to say, because Airstream is not everywhere now, and by not everywhere I mean literally anywhere.
The problem is all the other popular Pokemon
are fairies.
Or ghosts, or...
Yeah.
And just, like, are flying types anyway, so it's like being a fighting type is just sad.
One I actually do want to talk about for a second is Darmanitan. I think this thing could be extremely powerful. The big downside is you need to be paired next to Tailwind, and even then it's maybe not enough.
You're going to be locked into your attack anyway, so it's like, do you run Choice Scarf? So you can Choice Scarf Tailwind things?
I am going to look just to see what Darmanitan gets to.
It's fast. I don't remember how fast, but it's fast.
Let's see. We need to be level 50 because my phone corrected it for some reason.
We'll grab some more.
So let's see. Plus speed. Actually, we're way faster than I thought we were. We get to 161.
I'm just putting some Pokemon in B tier. Don't mind me, people. I'm just grabbing some stuff so we don't have to dig so far.
Dracovish is good. Dragapult's good. Entei's great. I think Entei, you could make an argument to be higher.
I'm just putting them in here to grab them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because
I'm following you.
Because while you're talking, I'm just multitasking.
I think Darmanitan's really interesting, especially if you do pair this with either redirection or speed control in some fashion. At the end of Series 8, I played a Darmanitan, like, Choice Band, I believe it was. You remember that team, right? The Choice Band Darmanitan team?
Yeah.
And, dude, it did so much work. It was one-shotting Restricteds and Dynamax. Just like, you don't care. You chunk everything. Mm-hmm. The thing about Darmanitan is you need to be willing to trade one for one. If you can single-handedly take something out, that's good enough.
Yeah, if you could trade one for one, that is what you need to do with it, and then you're going to be better off for it. Obviously, you want to make sure you trade one for like, something that's going to be equal value.
That's actually important, yeah. But like, the big argument, again, is you're a physical mon in a format dominated by Intimidate. And specifically, you don't really line up well against Fake Out either, and that you also aren't great against Incineroar in general. Granted, you have Rock Slide, so like if you can switch in after Intimidate, after the Fake Out, you're in a much better position. But like pivoting to get Darmanitan in is really difficult.
You're almost sacrificing something to get Darmanitan in.
Which, are you okay having a 2-for-1 to get in that position? And I think that's a big argument you need to make. Is like late game Darmanitan can take over a game.
Yeah,
like if this is your late game sweeper, it can run through everything, especially if Intimidate's already off the table. If it's in a, like, if you're going into a 2v2 with Darmanitan plus whatever, as long as you're faster than them, you win those endgames.
Yeah.
The problem is setting up those endgames.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think it's very okay, and I could see it doing a ton of work in this format. I'm not entirely sure exactly how much, though.
I added Dracovish.
I think Dracovish is a solid B.
Dragapult.
I think you can make an argument for Dragapult being A.
So the reason I don't have Dragapult higher is when it was popular, it was one of the fastest things in the format.
And unfortunately, it's not anymore with the inclusion of restricted mons, where the speed to beat now is 222.
Like, it was good. It was okay with a Lucky to be the second fastest Pokemon.
Yep.
You can't afford to be the fourth fastest Pokemon anymore.
Correct.
Like
the fact that you are outsped by Zacian, which checks you. Xerneas at +2 checks you. Eliki outspeeds you naturally. Granted, you resist everything coming off of Eliki, but
other than like Ancient Power. But if they're running Ancient Power,
you're probably dead anyway.
They're real desperate.
And Calyrex just one shots you.
Yeah, and then Urshifu just super checks
dunks on you. Yeah. So Dragapult is definitely not what it used to be. I still think it's okay.
Yeah. Entei, I could see Entei in A for sure.
Actually, yeah. I think over Entei versus Dragapult, I like Entei over it.
Mm-hmm.
It resists... it's immune to Intimidate.
Yep.
Which is huge in this format. It's immune to Fake Out, which, if you look at the top 4 mons on the board, 2 of the 4 have Fake Out.
Yep.
So, being able to be immune to both of those, being immune to Intimidate, being a physical attacker that also applies a ton of pressure against the steel types is really huge. Sacred Fire is a hell of an attack. You have Snarl for the special attackers.
Got extreme speed if you need to pick up KOs.
It literally is a Swiss Army knife. It depends on what you need it to do, it can do it.
Yep. Cavalier's solid B in my opinion.
Yeah.
Again, if there was going to be a Trick Room, Escavalier is probably one of the steel types to do it. Like, the Trick Room teams are going to be hard to build, specifically because there's just so many ways to interact with Trick Room now. Restricted's just blowing things up. Whirlwind, Roar, all goes before Trick Room goes up, so you're just going to get sent out anyway unless you have redirection, which a lot of the time they'll usually just have Incineroar sitting next to it. So if your redirection happens to be Indeedee, hope you can live the Darkest Lariat, because that Incineroar is going to move before that Whirlwind does.
So, here's the other thing. It's like, okay. Again, you're not particularly fast, being a Trick Room Mon. There's a lot of things in this format that check you efficiently. because you are a steel type. You're also a bug type, which does not really help your case because now you don't resist like flying attacks. You resist ground, or you're neutral to ground.
Neutral to ground,
which is relevant.
Neutral to fighting.
But like the typing of Escavalier is good, and you compare this thing next to like Kyogre and do like this be the steel type on your rain team, and now you really don't care about fire types at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's fine. I think B is about right.
Yeah, that's like, it wasn't going any higher than B. I got a couple here that I want to move. Gothitelle, get up here.
Okay.
Gastrodon can move up.
I think Gastrodon is up there probably, like, if we're ranking these in the tiers, I think it's probably better than Amoonguss.
We haven't gotten that far
Okay.
at the moment. I'm just moving things where I want them. Okay, there we go. The rest of these guys can stay B for the moment.
Yeah, they're fine wherever they are.
We were at Escavalier, so Gothitelle. Shadow Tag's good ability.
Hey, did you know that switching's really important?
When you
Now,
can't
what if you
pivot, you
can't?
just die.
Especially if you have a lead that next to Gothitelle can threaten a ton of the format, such as like Urshifu or Zacian or
Lucky, like we were seeing in
the end of Series 9. Like, this does a lot. Granted, if it's like you're facing down a Groudon and you lead Eliki, you can pivot. Your opponent can't.
Yep.
It's great.
I can just get out of there and just like, oh, cool.
Just Volt switch their partner and switch out.
We're good.
Or don't actually do that because they're going to protect their partner and then you're dead to Precipice Blades.
Exactly. The other big thing that Gothitelle just has going for it now is it's kind of bulky just naturally, and without Dynamax, it gets to live more hits than what it normally would.
Yeah. Who knew not having, base
130
150 attacks going into it would make it better?
Right? Gastrodon's an A just because it's the water ground types are really, really good.
I agree.
Like, the one thing that Dynamax was like, Rillaboom being everywhere meant is just like, it was almost always like Gigantamax, had Grassy Glide, things like that. You can kind of get away with playing your water ground types now because you can play more checks to Rillaboom, if that makes sense.
The big thing is all the water ground types threaten everything in the S plus tier.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to Quagsire and Swampert and Gastrodon, which I think that's literally all three of them that we're going to talk about.
That is all three, which I'm just going to go grab them now.
Like, the fact that you can build all of these to be special attackers means that you don't care about Intimidate.
Oh, we missed Seismitoad.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care about that one. Where's my boy Quagsire?
If
they leave Quagsire off this list, I'm going to be real upset. LMNOPQ. Yeah, there's no Quagsire.
Yeah, there's no Quagsire.
I am highly upset.
My boy. Seismitoad, you get to be standing Quagsire.
That's fair. He kind of looks like him.
That's close.
So, the fact that you can build all of them to be special attackers, Gastrodon in particular can threaten to one-hit KO most Zacian builds, depending on how they're built.
With Life Orb, it's a roll.
Granted, I particularly don't like Life Orb Gastrodon.
I remember the calc.
Yeah,
with Life Orb, it's like a 50% roll.
And that's if they're like max HP or something like that, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember.
Regardless, personally don't like that. I want these mons to be as bulky as possible, to be on the field as long as possible, and in the event that you see a Rillaboom, be able to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Which again is why you have 5 partners. You're able to threaten this Rillaboom, and next thing you know, it's no longer a threat to you because it's KO'd, and then you get to come in and threaten everything that your opponent's doing.
Speaking of, I just thought about this because Rillaboom's the thing. It's just like, Volcarona is the check that you run for these water ground types. Specifically because it's just like redirection, it eats up all the grass type moves it ever could ever want.
Does Volcarona get Whirlwind?
It does.
Interesting.
Did you not know that?
I think we talked about that a couple
We've
weeks
talked
back.
about it like 4 or 5 times now. I know it.
Look, we've only done like 4 episodes on this. And I know we haven't talked about Volcarona in all of them.
I did the deep dive.
That doesn't mean I watched it.
Shame. Shame.
Look, man, My YouTube backlog is really big right now.
Well, that's your problem. Yeah, Volcarona's been the redirection mod of choice at this point.
Yep.
Specifically because it just answers Zacian, it answers Xerneas really well. Being able to just send a Xerneas away or send a sub Zacian away, hit Zacian with Overheat, Flamethrower, Fiery Dance, whatever fire type attack you want to run. You get to play Struggle Bug, which neuters Xerneas a little bit more because it drops special attack every time. It's just like Bug Snarl.
Yep.
So Volcarona does a lot of cool things, and it's really, really powerful. I added Grimmsnarl, Hitmontop, and Gyarados into this B tier.
I don't really have anything really to talk about on them.
Gyarados and Hitmontop are cool just because they're Intimidators and they do unique things. Hitmontop having Wide Guard, Fake Out, Feint.
The fact that you can just like completely mitigate Hitmontop's terrible speed by having literally all priority moves is kind of great.
Yeah.
The downside is you literally died in DD.
Yeah.
Not only in DD, you die in a psychic terrain.
Yeah.
You don't even care who said it. You're dead.
Exactly. Gyarados is on here because I've seen a lot more Gyarados here lately.
Which I don't understand, man. It's a format where Elekey is really popular. You get one shot and then some.
Well, that's the thing is you have your 5 other partners.
True.
Where you get to play against Elekey and whatnot. So Gyarados as your Intimidator and then switching it out into your ground type or whatever it is.
Yep.
One of the things I've been seeing is like Gyarados with Groudon.
Sure.
Because you get to just switch in and just take that electric
and
attack.
Like you don't really care about having water coverage. You have like Power Whip and Bounce to be
You're like Power Whip, Fly, something.
Yeah.
And then you have a water move for when Sun runs out.
Yep.
Like you get to do Intimidate things and it's really cool.
My boy Ludicolo.
Yeah, get Ludicolo up here, and I want to talk about Lilligant for a little bit. Ludicolo, solid A tier pick. It answers both Weather Trio answers both the Weather Duo just with Grass Knot alone. I think Ludicolo gets Sunny Day, so it can actually do double duty on both with the weather as well.
I believe so.
Naturally, being a grass type means you don't have to worry about redirection from Volcarona. You get things like Swift Swim, Icy Wind stuff, Fake Out. It's really, really good. You still hit like a truck. You unfortunately can't outspeed Elekey in rain.
Mm-hmm.
I think your max speed is like 120 something. I can't remember. You needed to get to 138, and I think you're just short.
I can look because I have the internet.
I'm gonna grab Indeedee and put Indeedee in A as well. Indeedee is self-explanatory. It's just good.
Hey, did you know Indeedee's good?
Specifically Indeedee female.
Alright, cool. Indeedee male can probably stay down there where it belongs.
Yeah.
Timid, Ludicolo gets a 122. Yep.
Yeah. Lilligant. So, Lilligant is just better Venusaur now.
I don't know if that's accurate.
You are faster.
Sure.
You don't have to worry about running. You can just run whatever item you want on your Lilligant now. Mm-hmm. Plus Rage Powder.
Or, and hear me out on this, Sludge Bomb.
Venusaur has been proven not to be a good answer in Xerneas.
I know, I've tried.
It is just doesn't do enough.
I tried back in 18. It wasn't good.
It just doesn't do enough. It needs the gimmick that Pokemon Company gives it to be good. And when it doesn't have that gimmick, it just doesn't perform.
Yeah. Mega Venusaur, though.
Again, the gimmick. When you take the gimmick away, Venusaur, these Kanto starters just aren't that good. They just don't hold a candle to what we have nowadays. Lilligant probably is your better... If you're looking to do chlorophyll, sleep powder things, Lilligant's probably the one you want to go with. Let's see here. Heatran, Hydreigon, Hatterene.
Ferrothorn.
Oh, yeah.
Ferrothorn and Garchomp. I think both of those are worthy of talking about.
Ferrothorn's definitely... These two are probably definitely B tiers.
I think you can make an argument for Ferrothorn in A. Just because, like, it's really hard to kill if you come unprepared for it.
The thing is like, everyone's coming prepared.
Did you know that a fire type is the number one played mon in the format? I don't know how many more times I can repeat that this episode, Carl, before people get tired of it.
Incineroar's the best mon in the format.
Who knew?
It's
Are we just gonna call this like Incineroar's tier list at this point?
Like the thing is, it's like look at all the other fire types that are above because the fairy types are what's powerful, and these fire types resist the fairy types. So you almost always want a fire type on your team, not just because it's just like Incineroar is good. Some of these teams are running two. Some of these teams are running Incineroar Volcarona or Entei Volcarona or even Entei Incineroar because fire is just a really strong typing right now because of what's popular right now. Incineroar doesn't even actually have to be a fire type. That's the cool part. You can just run all dark and parting shot fake out.
I would not. I would run Flare Blitz on there somewhere if you can afford it.
Like, if you don't need to, you don't have to.
You don't have to, yeah, for sure.
When I was testing for it, I didn't have Flare Blitz on my Incineroar. I had Darkest Lariat to make sure I could just pick up Calyrex.
Yeah, sure.
But then I got Aegislash, so it's like, now I can run Flare Blitz.
Yep. What was the other one we were talking about? Garchomp.
I proved that Zygarde is the better ground dragon.
Yeah, it's fair. One of these requires your restricted slot, and the other one's weak to Intimidate.
The thing that makes Garchomp okay is the fact that it's still a faster Pokemon than most of the format.
It really is. It does outspeed a lot of the format, and it kind of hits like a truck if it's not checked.
The problem is the fairy type Xerneas just checks it really well.
You beat up Zacian, but you're outsped, so like that doesn't end up working out for you. And like because Zygarde is just naturally bulkier because it has 100+ stat points in it or whatever it is. Is it 650? No. It's 600.
I don't remember.
I'm looking.
The thing that Zygarde does best is it just like randomly heals in the middle of the fight. It's just like, oh, look at that! I'm back up to 75% HP because you triggered my trap card kind of situation.
The fact that that's how you're referring to it makes me laugh. Zygarde. 95 speed. It's actually sick.
You lose 10 of that when you go into complete.
Yeah, but who cares?
I do. Because you need to remember that because your speed goes from 145 to whatever you have it as.
Neat.
Just grabbing some more here.
You do that. I'm doing math. 81 and 95. 600. I was close.
Okay, I grabbed Mineshaw in A.
Yeah, that's fair.
Landorus I in S.
Yeah.
This thing's nuts now.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So, like, it's the same thing that why Zygarde is higher on this list than it probably should be. There's no ice types running around. Yeah. Oh yeah, I snuck this in.
Oh yeah, there's a Glastrier down here in C because it was really relying on Dynamax, and now that it's not a format, defining feature, it's not nearly as good.
Also, there's just Calyrex Ice.
Also, Trick Room doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Do I need to continue?
No. Mineshaw. Mineshaw is really, really cool.
It checks Incineroar.
It also
can do like a sizable chunk to like Zacian.
You have Wide Guard. You got Fake Out of your own. You're immune to Fake Out.
The number of people who I've seen fake out of Mineshaw is just like ridiculous. Like, not only is it probably the fastest fake out user in this format, so you're not going to outspeed it, but it also has inner focus.
It's like,
which you literally see when you intimidate it.
Exactly. Other Pokemon I snuck in here, I snuck in Kingdra in B and Kartana in B. Kingdra, it's not as good as Ludicolo without Dynamax. You still get to do Swift Swim Hurricane things, which is
can
cool.
do a sizable chunk. You also have like Muddy Water, so you can do like fast feeny things. The problem is again, you're a dragon type and you're weak to fairy and you're neutral to electric
and grass.
Yep.
Cartana still hits like a truck. It's still down here though because it's weak to intimidate and it's 4 times weak to fire.
If you're playing Cartana, play Focus Sash.
Yeah, at this point nowadays you need to play Focus Sash.
You don't get the extra bulk from Dynamax. Please do not play Assault Vest. It's not good. I have been preaching this since it was released into the format. Focus Sash is the better item on this thing. Please.
You want to talk about Lander's Eye?
Yeah, it's okay.
Or a T?
Oh, yeah, it's also okay.
Yeah,
it's
like...
worse than Incineroar. That's weak to Incineroar because Intimidate.
Which in turn checks Incineroar because it hits Incineroar.
Speaking of things that check Incineroar, can we talk about Mamoswine?
Yeah, we can talk about Mamoswine.
I think that's fair.
I think it's about right.
I'm done talking about Mamoswine now.
Like, it's a solid B tier pick for sure. Looking through the rest of this list, Mandibuzz is something that's kind of cool, but not necessarily actually going to be good. Although the Marowak's kind of in that same boat. Milo, there it is.
Milotic.
This is kind of the same vein as you're just like...
Can you live a Thunderbolt from Eliki if you're bulky enough?
Probably. Your special defense HP is decent enough on Milotic that you could probably do that. I know people are running AB Milotic to do specifically that.
That's sick. Like, so, I am a fan of that. Because you get flip turns, like, you can get out of there if you really need to.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can run the AV sets and just, like, flip turn out when you don't need to. Or just hard switch it out into something else.
Actually, I want to kind of backpedal, go back to talk about Mamoswine for a second. I actually think it's really underexplored in this format. The fact that it checks a lot of the big threats in this format, the fact that you can outspeed Rillaboom. Can you be faster than Rillaboom?
Max speed Mamoswine is 145.
Rillaboom is base 85. Mamo is base 80. So only if they're max speed Rillaboom do you get punished, and I don't think that's going to be a thing.
Not yet, anyway.
So you can spec to be faster than Rillaboom and get off a huge Ice Shard before you take a Grassy Glide, and you're probably going to be Focus Sash, so you can take one at least. You're immune to Intimidate.
I wonder if Life Orb Ice Shard picks up Rillaboom.
Off the top of my head, I have no idea. That's an Angelo question. He would know more about this than I would. Do we get, like, steel coverage at all?
I think Iron Head. I think that's the only one.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we don't do a ton against exactly Xerneas. But, I mean, we outspeed it, quote-unquote, because of priority, so that's good enough.
Come here, you...
Oh, Metagross, I wish you were better in this format. I think Moltres is going to be super underutilized. I know Aaron and... I think it was Zardichar were doing calcs the other day for AV Moltres. And dude, this thing actually looks super impressive. Like, it can single-handedly just cover so much and threaten so much all at the same time.
It gets to do the Yveltal thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what it gets to do. It just, I think minus Sucker Punch. Does it get Sucker Punch?
It does get Sucker Punch.
Okay, cool.
But here's the thing. You get to check Calyrex because you have spread Fiery Wrath.
Yeah.
Why Snarl when you could just KO both of them?
Yeah, exactly.
Why lower their attack when you could just one-shot them instead?
Definitely in the B tier, though, just because just like...
I think it is one that if we come back to this in a month and Moltres is really high, I would not be surprised.
Like, if Moltres is, like, I leaving this with the caveat that Moltres can always move up. And that's how most of these is. Like, most of these Pokemon can always move up.
Yeah, I think this is, like, the floor.
Yeah.
I don't see these as the ceiling of these Pokemon. I see this as, like, the baseline floor of where I think they are, or what the worst they could be in this format.
Dirt Horse, not gonna know.
I want it to be good, man.
Nihilego, Ninetales is...
Ninetales is?
2 of them.
You know, the plural of Ninetales is Ninetales.
Oh. Politoed, Porygon 2.
I want it to be good, man.
Come here, Porygon 2.
That's really high for P2.
I think P2 still has it. The total damage output has dropped because there's no one base 130 moves coming at your P2 anymore. True. So I still think it gets to do stuff. It's just with Trick Room not being as viable, you kind of have to explore and see what else P2 can do for you.
And honestly, this could also just be your Trick Room setter if you need it.
Like
the big problem, I think, is the rise of Urshifu in this format could threaten P2 a lot, but at the same time, you can just spec yourself to be able to live Wicked Blow or Close Combat. And Close Combat's obviously going to be the one that comes at you because it's a super effective one. And, I mean, you're not running Protect on P2, so they don't have to worry about clicking a move to attack into it because it's going to hit regardless. So
yeah. Like this is the Trick Room setter I think people will play the most. Specifically because it just fits on the most teams. It's also a really good check into opposing Shadow Rider because you get Shadow Ball and things like that.
And, you know, you're normal type, so you're immune to Astral Barrage. And I think if Series 8 is anything to go off of, that's a really good answer.
Yeah. Just having a normal type is just really good against the ghosts. Primarina,
Yeah.
Want to talk about Raikou?
It's okay. I mean, I think it is better than Charizard by a mile.
It's the other half of the Snarl Bros. We gotta at least
Super
talk
Snarl Bros is great.
We gotta at least gotta talk about it. It's weird.
This is Entei Coco, but evolved.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. It's weird. It's just because it's just like you don't think of just like I'm gonna leave double Pokemon weak to ground. Well, Leandros Eye isn't that great anymore, so you don't have to worry about that so much. Leandros Eye is not gonna sit there and spam Earthquake at you.
True. And even if it does, just clap them.
Yeah. Clap them and click Snarl. You'll be fine.
or clap them and set up screens. Or...
Yeah, it just does so many cool things. What else? R's. Gigas can stay down here. I don't want to talk about him.
I think all the...
this would be the one that I want to talk about.
No, we already talked about Eliki. We're good. That's enough of the Reggies.
Reggiesteel's going to be like probably the one that still sees play.
The fact that again moves are going to be less powerful in this format means that
this is more of a carryover from Series 9.
Yeah,
because this is something that people were playing a ton of in Players Cup. People are going to be seeing it at play. They were seeing it on regional finals because that was happened over this past weekend and whatnot. So it's just like Registeel is probably going to be something that starts to carry over from 9 as we go into 10. And it might stick, it might not. I don't know. We'll find out when it gets there. But it's like I said with Porygon 2, it's just like max moves aren't around anymore, so you're not taking base 130 fire moves from every fire type in the game. They have to run Overheat.
Yep.
You could punish them for that.
Yep.
And then Overheat can miss. Let me tell you, Overheat misses a lot. Speaking of Overheat misses.
Oh, Rotom.
Oh, Rotom. There's no Rotom fan here.
There's a reason, Carl.
But they put the Frost one on there.
Carl.
Why? If you're gonna admit, admit one, you admit both.
Fan is a meme. Frost spams Blizzard.
But we can't set our own Hail. You have to have another Ice type to set Hail.
Look.
So then you're doubly weak to Heat Wave.
Carl. Just because you're right doesn't mean you need to talk about it, okay?
Both Rotoms, I feel like, are just solid Pokemon to play. Like, if your team needs it, they're there. Mm-hmm. That's about all it is, though.
I love how you talk about both Rotoms. There's 6 of them, technically.
You're only playing one of these two.
Exactly.
You're not playing the grass one because Incineroar's in the format.
But Carl, Thunderwave.
That means nothing.
You outspeed them now.
They just clap you.
But Carl, you can outspeed them. Will-O-Wisp. I didn't say it was for Incineroar. Look,
Sableye,
I have a quota of the number of stupid things I need to say, and
we've already met it.
I haven't met it yet.
Yes,
okay?
we have. Sableye.
I think A's really high.
I don't. I think A's perfectly fine for it.
I think this is not going to see basically any kind of play, and I think that's criminal. I think Sableye is better than what people will give it credit for. I don't think it's this good, though.
I do. The fact that it's just like, Sableye was really good in Series 3, and then it just kind of just fell off.
Yep.
I think it's time for Sableye to come back and shine. Quash is just going to be really, really good now, because everyone's trying to set up.
Did you know Sableye is weak to Xerneas?
Did you know you can quash the Xerneas and then Oko it?
Look.
You can quash the Xerneas and then blow it up before it can ever do its Geomancy thing, and it ain't a problem anymore.
And you can go for Will-O-Wisp and Zacians, and then like the +1 literally doesn't matter.
And the other coverage move they're carrying can't hit you.
Nope.
So I think it's Sableye's time to shine.
But Carl, how do you check Incineroar?
You don't care about it.
You can't quash that one, Carl.
It's already slow. Incineroar's already slow.
But you can't quash it.
But you don't need to quash it.
You can't Will-O-Wisp that one.
But it can't hit you with Fake Out, so it can't do anything to you, so you just target its partner.
Flare Blitz. Got him.
Cool!
Got him!
If you're hitting me, that means you're not hitting my partner. It's doubles.
See, here's the thing. Sableye's just really annoying. That's like the best thing you can say about it. It's really, really annoying. Oh, Scizor, I want you to be good.
It's, again, in this... If I can get in here. In this weird tier of steel types that you want to play because you need a steel type. That's our smoke alarm.
Your wife is catching the house on fire.
I guess we're catching our house on fire. It's in this weird tier of steel types, which is like you want to play it. Scizor notably deals with a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's just like you have priority bullet punch to do things. Choice band brutal swing picks up Calyrex Shadow. I think even at -1. Superpowers on there for Incineroar. So Scizor could probably argue to be like that B.5 tier, but for the sake of just trying to speed this along.
Hey, we'll throw it with the other steel types here.
Come here, you. Invisible Pokemon, get in there. Imaginary Pokemon Shedinja. This thing's really good in restricted formats.
For some reason, I thought that the overlay was not picking it up when I looked over at it. I'm just like, Carl, people literally don't know what you're talking about right now. Please don't die to Shedinja.
Oh no, you're gonna see people who die to it.
I know.
It makes a great Kyogre pair.
It answers Zacian because they literally can't touch you.
They have to start carrying Fire Fang.
Yep. Good luck.
Say if you're carrying Fire Fang, you're not carrying Substitute. It means your Zacian's weaker to other Zacians. Bop ya.
Oh my lord. Spectrier.
Snorlax.
That's a Pokemon, yes.
Boop. I was doing calcs for Snorlax the other day. You actually do a lot.
Yeah, you live a lot and you do an okay amount at least.
Yep.
I think it's fine. I'm not in love with it, but I think it's fine.
Again, it's just like more Trick Room things that could be good. You just have to...
You have to work for it.
You have to work for it. Like with all these other Trick Room mons, like a Escavalier, Bronzong, you have to actually work for it.
I think of the mons that are slow and could benefit from Trick Room, I think like Araquanid and Ferrothorn are like the two really playable ones. And Amoonguss to an extent too. Yeah. Like Amoonguss never has really cared about Trick Room, but it definitely strives when it's
it loves it when it's up. It loves it when it's up, as long as you're not Turbo Shroom. Spectrier, it still has a place, I think. It's not.
Did you know it's not 4 times weak to opposing Calyrex?
Did you know it's still as thin as a piece of paper?
Look. Just because you're right, Carl. I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's
I think it does a lot of what it's always done, except this time now it doesn't Dynamax. But hey, it's okay because this is a support Pokemon.
Yep. It mirrors the like the Ice Rider thing, like Ice Riders in B, Glastriers in C, Shadow Riders A, Spectriers B.
Yeah, it's fine.
Stack attack.
I think it's fine right where it is.
You don't want to actually rank it? It's another one of those weird steel types against Wide Guard that people are going to play.
I don't think it's good.
I think it's fine.
I've tried a lot. Did you know Chople Berry isn't enough to make you live a close combat from Urshifu?
That's why you just play Sylveon. Priority quick attack.
I'm aware of what it does.
You get to bop it.
And then they bring out their Serena, like, nice quick attack, idiot.
Joke's on you, I clicked hyper voice.
Fair. Have a good day.
Like, you predicted the quick attack. I don't even have it. Blah.
I want Sylveon to be good in this format.
Suicune,
I just always want Sylveon to be good, man. It's the best evolution.
Join the other part of the Snarl Bros.
I always forget Suicune gets Snarl.
That's because Tailwind.
That one I knew, because, like, that's the thing it does. Talonflame's like, okay.
I think it's one of the better Tailwind setters right now, specifically because of Quick Guard.
Yep, it's fine.
Like, people are going to play it because Quick Guard, because Fake Out's super duper popular and super duper hard to do and hard to play around. Plus, it's a fire type.
Yep.
Tapu time.
Alright.
Okay.
Hulu is good.
How good?
Probably right around Aegislash.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Feeny.
Feeny is good.
How good?
I think it's better than Talonflame. I think it's better than Sableye. I think probably about there.
Okay.
Yeah.
A tier.
Yeah.
Where'd the rest of them go? Coco.
I want Coco to be good.
I'm currently playing Coco on my rain team, let me tell you.
It hits like a truck, man.
It's impressing because you get U-turn.
Yep, it hits like a truck.
Y volt switch, you can U-turn. It's probably in the same tier as just like Bulu.
Underrated.
Like,
yeah.
Underrated, you get to do terrain things, like you could switch out, you could pivot out with it, it's kind of cool. Lele, you're just...
You were there.
You're kind of just here. Like,
hits like a truck, though.
Oh, yeah, when you get to do your thing. Let me tell you, go watch Laddering from Thursday. You get to watch Dynamax just go, whoop. It's great.
Did you know Choice Specs is a hell of a drug?
Yep. I'm not talking about Terrakion. You can go away.
Yeah, it's...
Which Thundee? Do you want to talk about both or just one?
I actually think Therian is probably... I think they both have their spot. I think Volt Absorb is a very good ability in this format, especially since you could see Wild Charge on station. Probably not as common, especially compared to, like, Play Rough, High Jump Kick stuff. I mean, Sacred Sword, stuff like that. But I think if you time it correctly, it's really, really good. It hits like a truck. Base 145 special attack, something like that.
Yes.
It does so much damage, man, when it actually connects. Incarnate, it's fine.
You still got to do prankster things. It's not like prankster's just gone away entirely.
Yeah, for sure.
You're just not wanting to do Defiant things with it anymore.
For sure. Which is weird, seeing how Intimidate's really good, but...
all your moves suck.
Did you know Fly is a terrible move?
Did you know Superpower's counterintuitive with Defiant?
If it worked with Defiant, that'd be great.
Oh, God.
Just like
no.
like contrary, except better.
Togekiss.
It's good.
You want to talk about it?
Of the Mons that we've talked about, I think Togekiss is one of the better Mons. And I think this is on the back of, like, Will-O-Wisp plus, like, Yawn, potentially. Of course, the big problem is you're weak to Steel, and you're weak to Electric. And you're weak to Flying, and you're kind of weak to...
You can get Togekiss to live a lot of lucky hits with Cobberry.
Yep.
So that's, like, something to remember.
You get one.
And that's usually all you need. It's like, if you could get... now that Dynamax is gone specifically, you can just Yawn and then Protect.
Yep. Either they switch, or you get a free Protect.
Yep.
And then they're taking a nap.
Torkoal, come here.
Yeah, so see, Groudon, it needs to go right above it.
No.
Alright, that's fair.
Specifically because it's just like, Torkoal still doesn't take Water Spell very well.
As you got to see with Octillery. And I don't know if you know this. Octillery's not nearly as good as Kyogre.
So, the cool thing is, it's just like Groudon... It's close. Groudon can almost survive water spouts a lot of the time in the sun. Torkoal doesn't get that benefit.
No.
And a lot of Torkoal's damage usually comes from Eruption.
Yeah.
So it wants its HP stat to be very, very high.
Yeah.
So it's going to sit here in B tier, like the good little turtle it is, and wait for Trick Room to rise up in popularity and become a god again. Tornadus, specifically the incarnate furworm.
Did you know this thing clicks Tailwind and then dies?
Yeah. Did you know it's a great pairing with Kyogre?
Because it clicks Tailwind and then it dies.
Yeah, and then you get to switch in your Alecki and just take over the game. It does its job really, really well.
It is very okay.
Serena, get up here. You're at least an
Serena
A.
is super underutilized and will continue to be in the entirety of this format.
Like, I could see the entire, like, Rain Kyogre team, like, sitting right here in front of me.
Like, Serena, I believe, is currently at, like, 9 or 10% usage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is literally every Kyogre team I see on ladder every time. It's literally Incineroar, Alecki, Kyogre, Serena, Tornadus, and then some random bug or steel type.
Serena's really good, man.
Yeah.
Did you know Queenly Majesty is a hell of a drug?
There's a reason Indeedee Female was played forever.
Now, imagine you also get to click priority moves.
Well, you get to do that most of the time, too. You just can't, like... You can click your own into your own Pokemon on second train. And that's about it.
But you can't fake out theirs.
Yeah. No, but if you have Serena, like... If Serena Incineroar is the lead that you see, I'm not going to care about fake out anyway. I'm just going to blow up the Serena.
True.
Like, you have to pick one of my Pokemon to fake out. Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to fake out your Incineroar because you don't have Protect, and then you're going to take a high
says
jump kick.
you.
And then you're going to take a high jump kick to the face.
And say, says you.
Please don't. I wanted to
This
do
Indian Incineroar I was playing on ladder has Protect.
Yeah, but that's also weakness policy.
So?
I also forgot it had Protect.
Tyranitar.
It is very okay.
Yeah.
Is that it? That's
that's
okay.
it. That's
Umbreon, it is better than Tyranitar.
Get up here. You get up here. Umbreon is and was a very powerful Pokemon in Series 8, and I expect this thing to come back with a freaking vengeance.
I have not seen it once.
I can't wait.
And I think that is super terrible. I think this thing is fantastic.
The reason you probably haven't seen it is because the Urshifus and Xerneas are very, very popular.
Yep.
Those are probably the three things that like keep Umbreon away, but that's what the rest of your team is for. It's like you just find a fairy type and find a steel type.
I'm gonna go shiny hunt Umbreon.
I have an Eevee that I won from Bauerdad that I need to evolve into an Umbreon still.
Is it hidden ability?
Yes.
Mine is not.
Womp womp.
My Sylveon is.
Just ability patch it.
Yeah, I don't own those. I'm too lazy.
I have an extra one now because I'm an idiot.
I'm too lazy to grind.
I have an extra one now because I'm dumb.
Poppy has like 40 of them or something absurd, he said.
I found out you don't need ability patches to change Zygarde's ability, so.
You want to talk about Venusaur?
Get down here.
Please don't play Venusaur. I don't think it's particularly good.
You, come here. Come here, little...
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There we go. No,
I don't think it's that high.
I love Whimsicott.
I know you love it, but I don't think it's that high.
It's so good, man. It's so adorable. How could you not love it?
Come here, you...
You grabbed the wrong Zapdos.
I'm not done.
Okay.
I can only grab one at a time.
Yeah, but you grabbed the wrong one first.
I just grabbed the Kanto one because it's easier to click on. It's bigger.
It's literally the same text, the same box. Same box. Yeah.
I moved it.
Yeah. Same box.
So
Zapdoses are good.
Yep. I think the Kanto one is underutilized by a mile. There's a lot of cool things that it still does. Electric Flying is still a very good typing.
I actually think both of them are completely underutilized right now.
My big worry for the Galarian form is because Xerneas and
Eliki
and
Zacian.
I
mean, you do a very sizable chunk to Zacian. I believe with Scarf you can't outspeed Eliki though. If I remember correctly, that was like the one thing is you can't outspeed Eliki.
Base 100, so you get to 167. Scarf gets you to 240.
No.
Yeah, no.
It's been a hot minute, but I think that's the one thing you can't outspeed, but that's fine because instead you have teammates to be able to answer it. But, you know, it's fine.
But yeah, I think that's everything we wanted to actually talk about.
Carl, you missed Cosmog.
Okay.
I think Cosmog is better than Mewtwo. Like, unironically, I think so.
Just out of spite for Mewtwo.
Mewtwo's really bad, man.
Get up here.
That one's not better than Mewtwo.
That one 100% is better than Mewtwo. Because you can still give it EVLI.
I love how D tier is just like, here's all the Kanto Mons and also Colossal.
If I had a Lapras would be down there too.
Yeah, G-Max Lapras is there. That's close enough.
Okay, I'll just put G-Max. You go here.
Move Butterfree there.
Yeah, I only want to talk about Butterfree to begin with. Yeah. I think that's everything. We didn't talk about Dusclops. It's weird.
It's really weird, man. You can either live Urshifu or you can live Calyrex. You can't do both. And here's the thing compared to P2. P2 doesn't have to make that choice.
Yeah, P2 just like, I'm just going to leave it down here.
I think it's fine. I don't think it's particularly great. But it's like, okay.
I don't think there's anything else. I think that's everything.
I think that's everything I really want to talk about.
Other than my boy Quagsire not being in the list.
Yeah, which is a criminal statement.
Super upset.
I need to scroll down so I can see the maker of this tier list. Is it listed here? Nerd of Now VGC. You and I need to have a word. You left off Quagsire, and that is criminal. Do you know what this thing actually does?
Quagsire's a monster, let me tell you.
The fact that they put Seismitoad on here but left out Quagsire upsets me.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Obviously there'll be a link to the image down below in the YouTube description, in the podcast description, so you can check it out. Or you can, I will probably leave the link for the actual tier list maker down there so you can make your own.
Is this the part where we get to talk about Unite finally?
Unless you want to, how much time you want to kill?
Yeah.
So I am a Slowbro main. Slowbro Snorlax Machamp.
Talonflame Gengar. Those are about the only two I've really played.
So you can tell who's the bulky.
I am squishy. I have not played with Zeraora, but I've heard it is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, I haven't touched it either.
I think because it hasn't been in any of the betas, like, everyone is trying to play it right now, and I think as a result, a lot of bad people are playing it.
So, I'm going to make a League analogy here. So, League of Legends has a champion named Yasuo.
Yep.
Yasuo is the samurai swordsman. It hits a lot of good buttons for people who just like fantasize about samurai, want to fulfill that fantasy, cool, whatever. Yasuo's on my teams were always terrible.
See, when you talk about Yasuo, my mind goes to Runeterra, where playing with it, my deck did nothing. Every time I played against it, my opponent just shit on me.
It's the same way in the game.
Exact same way.
It is the exact same way. Every opposing Yasuo is a god. Can carry the game, 1v9, doesn't matter. Your Yasuo dies in the jungle to jungle creeps 10 times before 10 minutes. That's usually how that goes. Yeah. Zeraora does the same damn thing. The opposing Zeraoras are always amazing, and your Zeraora really never even plays. It just shows up and kind of just stands in a lane.
I've played Ninetales. Ninetales is, I think, really good. I think it's, like, as of now, I think it's kind of underrated. Because everyone else is, like, playing everything else.
Yeah.
And as a result, like, Ninetales is kind of underrepresented, and as a result, people don't respect it, I think.
I have played every role but support and speedster. Okay,
so here's what you need to know about support. Play Eldegoss, don't touch the other two.
I don't even think I have Eldegoss.
Cool. Yeah, Mr. Mime is Terra bad,
I figured that out.
And the other one is Wigglytuff, I think.
Yeah, Wigglytuff I've heard is like decent.
So Wigglytuff is really good early game. The problem is it does not scale whatsoever.
Okay.
So if you want to be able to push a lane really early and like try to take over a game as soon as possible, Wigglytuff is the way to go. The problem is like you really don't get to do a lot late game, and as a result, you just really, really fall off. Which might be that you need to build it differently or something like that, or just really rely on having a good partner, because like I've had games where I've been partnered with Wigglytuff and opponent just like my partner just puts them to sleep, and then Talonflame just smacks them and it's like, all right, cool, you're dead. You did nothing.
Yeah.
You sat there and died, whereas Talonflame, and I get put to sleep, I'm dead. So Eldegoss is really good. It does a lot of different things. I don't even know what all it does. That's the worst part. But of the 3 support mons that are in the game, it's the best one.
Of course. I have played with all the defenders. I'm not the biggest fan of Crustle. It's got cool tools. Crustle's got the wall, and X-Scissors kind of cool. I'm just not a fan of the way it plays. It seems more like a wall until you want to click Shell Smash and then go. I much prefer just being bulky and offensive at the same time, not having to sacrifice one or the other.
Much like Snorlax. And
Snorlax does a great job of just like, oh, you're going to fight me? Okay. I'm going to click Heavy Slam. Now I'm going to click Yawn. Now I'm going to hit you 3 times.
Now I get to Heavy Slam you again.
Now I get to Heavy Slam you again.
Oh, now you can attack.
Now it's your turn. Oh, now you're just coming back down. Okay, now you're fine. And now you've lost 75% of your HP, and I can just sit there and just smack you until you die. Or my teammates have now shown up, and I can just walk away and just let them clean up. Slowbro does a lot of the same things. My sets are always Surf, Telekinesis for Slowbro, and then Heavy Slam, Yawn.
Yep.
Those seem to be the best move sets for both of them. I have not seen anything better out of them.
Have you slapped AV on Snorlax yet?
So my items are Cookie. For when I score, I get 100. Yep. I get to increase my HP by 100.
Yep.
I have AV and Leftovers on Snorlax, and I have Cookie, Shell Bell, and Leftovers on Slowbro.
I honestly think you could get Leftovers from both of them and play Floatstone on both of them. Because, obviously the big problem is you're a slow Pokemon.
So, I'm not actually ever really worried.
Okay.
So, I usually have Floatstone's cool. I usually don't have a problem getting out or getting in because we have a eject button.
The eject button is so powerful.
So, and if you time your dashes right for both of them, because both Heavy Slam and Surf are dashes, you can get out of fights and things like that. I've gotten to the hang of Heavy Slamming over walls and getting away and using it as a flash.
Very similar to Fly and Flame Charge, and if I really need to, I can ult away from you.
Yeah.
Or more importantly, I can ult and pull you away from everyone else and 1v1 you. That's the glory of Talonflame.
The problem is when you try to 1v1 me, people run into problems. Because then I just get to CC lock you, and that's the situation you're in. It's you're in a 1v1, there's no backup for you because you've taken me out of the team fight.
Yep.
So you have to hope that your rest of your team cleans up while I'm gone.
The real glory, and obviously this Magical Christmas Land, is you time Talonflame's ult just right to where you pick up a KO and you lower something enough where you can 1 to 2 shot it before they're able to react, and then just double KO off of your ult is just obviously insane.
I love just I get to Unite move, which is, for Snorlax, it's the big sleep thing.
Yep.
You can reactivate it and flip over and deal more damage again. So it's I'll get him real low, and everyone's just sitting there trying to hit me. I'm just reactivate, flip, pick up a KO or 2. It's just it's the best feeling ever. Because I'm sitting here, I'm immune to hindrance, I'm healing, and I just flip over, pick up KOs. It's fine.
Garchomp's really great.
Yep, I've enjoyed
Garchomp. Machamp, in that same vein, is also really cool.
Machamp is nuts.
Both of them, if you do not check them early, if they get a single level advantage on you, you're dead.
They are Machoke, just like getting to Machoke as fast as possible is super duper important. You want submission as soon as possible, just because it is such a good CC tool.
Yep.
And then I always go for cross chop after that, just because cross chop's the dash. It lets you get a little bit closer, because submission speeds you up a little bit. And then if you're just out of range, you can cross chop into them, and then submission picks them up and runs them backwards.
Garchomp, it's like Dig plus Dragon Claw is like the set I've been playing.
That's the one I like too.
Does a lot of damage really quickly.
There's also Dragon Rush, which is okay. It's like a 3-hit dash.
It's a super slow dash.
Yeah, it's like
a dash with a charge, which is awkward.
It's like 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of the dash. But you're moving every time you swipe.
Not a fan.
I like being the dig impervious. Yep. It's like I'm immune for this long. I can get out.
Yep.
The tools that are like both offensive and defensive are the best tools, which that tells me that they're going to go through and balance the heck out of these and make them terrible.
Or they're going to balance everything else to get to that level. That would be the ideal world.
So far, every Pokemon I've seen has a good set of offensive defensive tools. I don't know like what they want to bring the other moves up. Instead, by doing that, you'll have to bring the other moves down.
Yeah.
Because if you put too much power in certain move sets, then the game just gets wonky. Balancing MOBAs is hard.
Dude,
let me tell you, I'm glad I'm not.
Balancing games is hard.
MOBAs specifically, because like you give one character an edge, everyone wants to play that character, and it just ruins your game.
Yep.
Because people are quitting left and right because they want to play that character. They aren't fast enough on the draw. Things like that. That's how a lot of the League ended up being. It's like every time a new champion comes out.
That's how Smite was too. Is when a new character was first announced, everyone who has the battle pass is like, all right, well, I'm playing this for the next week and a half, and you learn really quickly what that champ can do.
Oh yeah.
And you learn really quickly how to beat it.
Yep.
Because you also get to play against a lot of really bad ones.
Yeah, you just get to play against all of them, so you just like know what they do.
Yep. Because who knew day one people don't know what they're doing?
Yeah, exactly. Unless they played on for League, it was the public beta. You can play on public beta. You get access to these things early in exchange for just like submitting bug reports and whatnot. I was part of the PvE testers like early on. Got to play with a lot of champions early. It was fun because I was like, when they get launched, it's like, oh, I know exactly what
I know what this does.
I know exactly what this champion does. I'm not gonna play it, but I know exactly what it does because I got my fill on the PvE. It was great.
You know, I think that's about all I wanted this week.
Yeah, we're approaching 2 hours. I hope everyone enjoys this.
Yeah.
Our early off, we got sidetracked a lot, but once we started sitting down, we got through that tier list pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't have Team of the Week. We're not sure
what we're doing yet.
we might have something special for Showdown, which would have been up yesterday. So you'll see it when it's already up. It'll already have happened.
Yeah, we'll figure it out when it happens.
But I have an idea now. Now I have an idea. So
see, I haven't heard this idea. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm excited. Is that all we got, man? We getting out of here?
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. So, as always, everyone, if you're listening on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Help us out to help you out to see more of our content, all that stuff. If you're not listening on YouTube, that link is always down in the show notes. As always, make sure you go and click it, hit that subscribe button, and follow all the videos that you ever want to see ever. Let's see. You can follow us on Twitter at LR Lessons, myself at Mr. Missouri25, and Carlos at MusicalVGC. You can find us on Twitch, which is at Mr. Missouri25 and at Musical. Tuesday, so tomorrow night.
You have a key item randomizer.
Yeah, me and Baradad are gonna do Crystal Key Item Randomizer.
I'll come hang out. I don't know. I like those are too long for me to play after a long day of work.
He did not realize how long they were because I'm like, look, heads up, you are going to need to block out a time for this. He's like, yeah, a couple hours. No, I'm like, no, this is like at least 4 hours minimum.
Like,
if we get like an average seed.
An average seed, is 4 hours. A good seed is like maybe 3.5. Like,
If you get a terrible seed, good luck.
Yeah, if you get a terrible seed, it could be 6, could be 8 hours. Who knows?
At that point, we'll figure it out then.
Yeah, you'll probably have a winner before the 5-hour mark. Usually someone bows out by then.
Yeah. So that's gonna be Tuesday night. Come and check us out. Do you put those down in the show notes? Do you put our actual links?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You want to put Power Dads down there too?
I could definitely do that.
Cool. Go check him out. His stuff is great.
Wednesday will be a Rumble.
Yes. This past Saturday
there was an LRQ. Wednesday will be a Rumble. We'll have all the data for that next week.
If you want to come play those, join the community Discord. That is always down in the show notes.
Yep. Website. We got a website. It doesn't do a whole lot right now. It's just got data about us and stuff like for the LRQs and whatnot. Keeps track of points there.
Yep, as our leaderboard and all that stuff. So if you're ever interested in, hey, where am I at? How many points am I behind? Can I afford to take a week off this week? The answer is no. Come play.
Don't say that. Yan's been off for like 3 weeks. He's still in the top 4. He had so many points going into his break that he's taken almost a month off, and he is still just fine.
Yeah.
So
I think that's everything. Twitter, Twitch, Discord, YouTube.
Talked about the Rumble. Talked about Draft League. Talked about
come join Draft League. It's great.
Well, Draft League sign. Like I said, DM us. For Draft League, if you're interested and you missed the sign-up window, just DM me or Carter. We'll get you added in. It'll be fine. 38 players as of right now.
Would like to get to 48.
48 would be the ideal number for me, but if I can't, oh well.
Yeah, we'll make it work with whatever we got.
Exactly.
If we overshoot 48, the next ideal number is like
64.
Yes, I was gonna say 60. I'm like, that's definitely not right.
64.
Yep.
Is the next ideal number. Obviously, we like even numbers too. No bye weeks are good. Everyone gets to play.
Yeah. If we can avoid having 1 to 2 groups without a bye every week, that would be super ideal.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm rolling. That was everything.
Cool. So that is going to be it, everyone. Have a fantastic week, and we'll be back next week with some more Littleroot lessons. Have a good one. Peace.